Are you getting nervous?
Just because it's normal for you there doesn't mean that it's okay or acceptable in society. That's where terms like grooming enter the picture. Hey guys, and welcome back to DeInfluenced. I'm Sasha, and here's where I dive into the messy world that is influencer culture. One, so you guys don't have to, but two, to call them out for their crappy behaviors. Today, we certainly have a messy one. As you will have seen from the title, we are diving into the lore that is the dad and daughter dream team duo. Even though there's two other people, it's really focused on them. And we're going to discuss whether or not this content crosses boundaries or if people are just completely overreacting, taking something out of context and making it something that it's clearly not. But before we get into it all, please, if you find any of this entertaining, educational, thoughtful, whatever, or just like the content, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps me to grow and reach more eyeballs and hold these influencers accountable for their behaviors. But we got a lot to cover, guys, so let's go. All right, so the other day, my friend and podcast partner, Kara, released a video about this duo, and I didn't have time to look into it then, and when I finally had some mental capacity to start researching someone new, I decided them, because what is happening here? I don't know. Maybe you can help me decide, but as you will have seen, we are talking about the dad and daughter dream team. They are primarily on TikTok, I believe, also have an Instagram presence, and consist of Patrick and Sarah Getchell, I think. Don't quote me on that. I have no idea. And their content is really quite polarizing in the grand scheme of things, and people find their dynamic to be extremely uncomfortable. Now, I know a lot of people are close with their dads, close with their moms, their parents, whatever. There's daddy's little girls, mommy's little girls. I was really close to my father growing up. We held hands, we hugged, and we had that close bond. But as others are saying, a lot of other creators and a lot of commenters on Reddit are saying, this goes beyond that normal father-daughter type interaction. And even people who don't have this kind of dynamic, even the people who do have a close relationship with their parents, agree that this father-daughter duo is really pushing the line of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Now, when I first started digging into these people, and it didn't take long to realize that my assumptions were wrong, but the first few videos that I saw, and I'm really trying to be sensitive here because it's not a judgmental place that I want to come from, in a sense, but more so a deeply alarmed place. The first few videos that I saw of the dad raised some questions about whether or not all his facilities were there upstairs. And those were just silent videos, kind of some goofy dance videos when I very first started looking into this. And as I continued and saw his presence on camera, I realized, you know what? No, he's just kind of really quirky and creepy, but I'm pretty sure he knows exactly what he's doing, and his faculties are all there based on the way he speaks and presents himself. And the reason I bring that up is because when I first started looking into this, I always ask myself, is this something that people are blowing out of proportion? Now, obviously, I don't think that Kara would have blown things out of proportion. She wouldn't have made a video if it wasn't a big deal. But sometimes people jump on a bandwagon, on Reddit especially, and they just pick apart people because it makes them uncomfortable. Or even if you're scrolling on TikTok, sometimes you'll see comments of, oh, this is sexual. A big example for me, and I'll caveat this by saying I haven't seen the video or anything like that, is people freaking out about the Churkos and Nick in bed with the girls with his shirt off. Now, if he has pajama pants on, I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think that's overly weird and creepy, and I don't think that a dad being close with his girls, even just having his shirt off, should be sexualized. Like, that's something that I feel like is a little bit of a reach. I truly don't think that Nick and Lainey are predators in any sense of the way, other than, you know, the predatory exploiting of their children. But like, that's pretty much normalized in today's society for some reason. But I always ask myself, is this heat, hate, accountability justifiable? Is it warranted? And it really didn't take me long to realize, yeah, absolutely, it is warranted, and people aren't taking things too far or out of context. They are reacting to the content being posted and saying, this is very uncomfortable. This isn't normal. And the clapback responses that both Sarah and Patrick have released, which we are going to take a look at here in a little bit, have basically been saying, this is normal. Well, just because it's normal for you there doesn't mean that it's okay or normal for society or acceptable in society. That's where terms like grooming enter the picture, because you have this sense of normalcy from the victim. They have been groomed this way to think that, hey, this is normal behavior from my parent. It's all they know. And I worry that Patrick is extremely controlling and uses the guise of Christianity to get away with this controlling nature. But we have the purity ring in culture. We have the isolating from friends and isolating from family, seemingly. Like, it doesn't look like they have much outside interaction other than the four of them. And those behaviors alone are very, very concerning. And although they've attempted to ease the heat and clap back at the backlash, it was more so just gaslighting the entire time and not actually taking any form of accountability. We are the ones with the problem. We are the ones with the sinister thoughts. We are the ones creating something out of nothing. But when you see a dad and daughter in a closet together and they do a transition and all of a sudden they're in bathing suits, well, that's weird. That's a weird thing to film. And then when you see the way she like longingly looks at her dad, it's weird. It's really effing weird. And trying to paint this whole thing as a misunderstanding when you guys have already deleted a 33,000 follower TikTok because of the backlash that you receive is just wildly irresponsible. And it breaks my heart for Sarah, who's really the victim in all of this, because it's sad. And to have seen her kind of change over the years and her decline and her physical appearance change and her demeanor change, she's definitely like lost her sparkle. She's not there anymore. And honestly looks like she's masking most of the time. Just grin and bear it. Just get through it. But Sarah claims that absolutely nothing's going on, that she's daddy's little girl. She was born on Father's Day, for goodness sakes. So it was meant to be that they were always going to be close. Again, there's nothing wrong with a daughter being close to their dad, but like this, it's next level. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of the videos that I pulled up that people said make them very, very uncomfortable. Okay, so here's a compilation. It's just over a minute long, and it's a compilation of creepy videos and clips that people have taken and ran with, spliced together. As you can see there, just the way they look at each other and the way she hangs off of him and is constantly touching her, to be honest. Like, and it's not like obviously not sexually touching her. They wouldn't do that on camera, but just like the rubbing of the back, the shoulders, the head, the hair, all the things. It's really next level, to be very honest, and super deeply alarming. Here's another one of them just looking at each other, and you can tell the way they're looking. It's just, I don't know. See, you guys can see for yourselves and decide what you think.
If you hurt my girl, you will answer directly to me. And whatever crimes I commit against you, remember, I have diplomatic immunity in 46 countries, including Puerto Rico. So you will find that the word fear is not in my vocabulary. Perhaps, but it's in your eyes.
What? Okay. So I mean, like, if there wasn't everything else on top of that, that makes sense. A dad protecting his daughter, right? You hurt my girl, you're not gonna be okay if you hurt my kids, right? That's not necessarily creepy. And that's why I question things, because it's like, okay, are we taking things out of context? But the way she's just looking at him and the defeat and him and everything, and then everything else involved, well, it's creepy. So apparently this was creepy. I didn't watch this.
Boop.
Boop.
You know it's hot out here.
Yes, it is very.
Like, just a kiss on the forehead. I don't understand. The dynamic, it's really weird and awkward, and it's very much that husband and wife type of vibe, not father-daughter. And that's what's so deeply concerning with everything else that we're going to talk about before we get into their response videos. Again, this is all this girl knows, and she thinks it's normal, and now she's an adult. She's 22 years old, wearing a purity ring that her father proposed to her with, and I don't know. I don't know. It's very awkward. Are you guys just not going to answer anything? Like...
It's getting dark.
Yeah, I think we better end here. We'll be back. We'll be back either Saturday or Sunday. I haven't decided which one yet. One of those days.
One of those days we'll be back on live.
Yep.
So you will definitely see us either Saturday or Sunday.
Yes. Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Or Sunday. Well, good luck, Maddie. That sounds like fun.
Start the fire again. Get some smoke over here.
Just the dynamic. And this one's from when she was a little bit younger. I guess a big thing people are picking up on is the fact that she looks exhausted, and just overly exhausted, but also really uncomfortable in a lot of the things. Like when you saw this clip first start, that little smile that she gives and like the side eye and stuff like that, it's just, I don't know.
Let's start off with an easy one.
Okay.
What year was I born?
1981?
Good. Sorry, just getting warmed up here.
Okay.
So, let's see. How old was I when you were born?
21?
I turned 21 a month later. So I was 22.
Damn!
Okay.
What is this?
This water's cold.
Where was I born?
What the is this? No.
Nevada?
Nope.
You were born in Nevada?
No, I didn't go to Nevada until I was 14 years old.
What?
I was born in St. John's, Vermont.
And I knew that too!
Are you getting nervous?
No.
Are you getting... She's literally about to cry. This is f***ed up. What is this?
Okay, so, what's my favorite movie?
I know this one. The original.
Look at him. Ew. Oh, what the hell? He's just like stroking her hair. Calm down, princess. It's okay. You're just about to get dumped in a bath of ice cold water, but calm down. It's like, ugh, what the
The original Star Trek?
Nope. The Never Ending Story.
Yep, I knew that too.
Okay, so.
Is this a trend?
What's my
Don't
favorite
tell me
color?
this is a trend. It's a trend to drown your children, to like...
Red?
Good! You can tell me something about me. What have I always said was one of the greatest days of my life?
The day I was born.
Okay, you don't know that. Second greatest day?
The day Hunter was born.
Okay, good.
Wow. Okay. What was the greatest day of my life? The day I was born. Second greatest day Hunter was born. Like, talk about picking favorites much.
How old was I when I was saved?
Same age as me, 8.
Good. But you weren't 8, you were 9.
That wasn't the question!
Well, when you say something that's wrong about yourself, I gotta duck you. Okay, one more. What's my favorite book?
The one by Anne McCaffrey. The Dragon Riders of Pern?
Very good.
I wanted to say Aragon, but that's my favorite book.
Well, close. I love that book too.
I'm really glad we have Mickey here, because I don't think I'd be able to do this without him. That was messed up. So that's kind of the dynamic that they're giving off. And as I find more stuff, I will continue to insert it here. But another huge point that I want to make is both his brothers are sex offenders. And I will insert the mugshots and charges here. And Patrick is still in ties, in talks with his brothers. And recently people have even seen them liking posts, or Sarah's mom, Teresa, going and liking posts from the brothers, and the mom, like Nana, so Patrick's mom, also still communicates with the brothers. And he refuses to denounce his brothers, but says things like this.
The things that they accuse me of, if I ever found out somebody else was doing, they'd probably be having a conversation with me at the very least, or
Conversation with the doctor.
yeah.
If I found out that somebody was doing the things they accuse me of, well, we'd have a good conversation about it. What? There's that, and there's the other one that we saw earlier. I'm going to protect her at all costs. Your brothers are sex offenders, including like kidnapping and R-wording. It's not just public exposure, indecency, stuff like that. No, they, at least one of them, R-worded a minor child. A minor. And this guy has been and is still in talks with his brothers. He never denounced them. So he's all about this whole, I'm going to protect Sarah, I'm going to protect her, yet is still bringing known predators around because you don't give up on family. Well, no, I don't care who you are. If you're going to pull that stuff on the most innocent, vulnerable people on the planet, you're done. You're done. I don't understand why they're not in jail. I don't understand anything. I really don't. So that is also a level that is very concerning, especially because there is seemingly no other outside source for this girl. And people are very worried about it, and they just take it as haters. And that is what's so concerning about the way Sarah responds to everything, is that it's all just hate. And it's not. It's coming from a place of deep concern and informing you that this isn't normal. What your dad is doing isn't normal. It might be your normal, but it's not acceptable. It crosses boundaries, it's creepy, and people are convinced that he is assaulting her just based off the way she's acting. Now, over the last few years, as I said in the beginning, her appearance has dramatically changed as well. And she has huge dark circles under her eyes, which can be a trauma response physically and emotionally. And that's got people very concerned. And all either of them do is just brush it off. No, nothing's wrong, nothing's going on. Maybe so. Maybe there's nothing going on with your dad, but that can be a very scary underlying health concern. It's very prominent. You should go get checked, and she's not getting checked. So you have to ask yourself why she's not going to the doctor to get checked. Who is stopping her, and why is she not just going and making sure everything's okay? And as I continued to dig deeper into this lore, that's really what it feels like. It feels like Patrick is 100% trying to control her, keep her subdued so that she doesn't go and branch out and realize, yeah, this isn't normal. But for them to have taken down a huge TikTok account because of trolls or a mistake they made, that is super sus. What are you trying to hide is the question we should be focused on, because, okay, you just deleted it because of trolls, and you didn't think the trolls would come back on your new one? Okay, wishful thinking, I suppose. I found this video right here of how the dream team came to be, so I'd like to take a look at it with you guys, because I feel like it might be a little bit of a good introduction for all of us to get to know this family. So this is Sarah.
Hey guys, so I'm not good at the whole explaining thing like my dad, So this won't be a very long story, but you guys wanted it, and I want to try my best. Call this our first story time. Now, I can't do this all at once, so this is going to be filmed in clips to give me a chance to organize my thoughts and hopefully make it interesting. So when I first dove into social media, I really wanted everyone to like me. So I would post a bunch of videos here on TikTok on things that were trending. I was really uncomfortable with some of them because the sounds weren't exactly clean. I mean, I cussed, but these were bad. I was able to stay away from a lot of the suggestive stuff because of my beliefs. I got a decent response and people wanting to message me and talk to me. I was happy people were liking me. That's where it got a bit crazy. I ended up in a group chat and talking to people there, and they were all talking about editing and trends and stuff like that and asking me to do certain trends. I can't even remember all of them, but I know some of them had sounds that weren't great, but I wanted people to like me, so I did them. I also got into editing and cosplay transitions. Some of the edits they talked about sounded fun, so I dove into my favorite TV shows and movies for edits. I ended up getting so involved that I became obsessed with them. I did a few cosplay transitions from the shows and wore outfits I would never wear. I also heavily used makeup, which I hate. I got to a point where I couldn't even recognize myself anymore. It wasn't until my dad stumbled on one of my accounts that I realized how bad it had gotten. Honestly, I never crossed a few lines because of my core beliefs, but I was at a point where I might have. My dad sat me down and explained to me that it's okay for you to want people to like you, but by changing who you are, they aren't really liking you, they're liking the person they want you to be. He told me to find those friends that accept me for who I am, and those are my true friends. He also helped me to see that I needed to stop being someone I'm not and be who I really am. So I deleted all the accounts and found a couple true friends who stuck by me even when they knew who I truly was. Since I decided to focus on myself, I am much happier. I'm at a point now where I don't care what anyone else thinks I should be. I am who I am, and I change for no one. I decided that I still wanted to do TikTok, but I wanted to be the real me. So I asked my dad to team up and do dance trends and maybe even other fun stuff. And so the dream team was born.
So after your dad sat you down and told you what you're doing isn't okay and you need to focus on people liking you for you, he weaseled his way into your content? I don't believe that that was her idea. I really don't believe that that was her idea. Was that the super big account that got banned, or was this like a little hidden account? Anyone who knows the lore really well, please let me know because I'm so curious. But yeah, that's very convenient that right after your dad said, hey, what you're doing is really, really bad, he weaseled his way in. Okay.
Fun stuff. And so the dream team was born.
That was awkward. Okay. No, I feel like the dream team is the one that got deleted. I don't know things. Should we watch Get to Know Dad? See what he's like? I feel like we should because I feel like it'll give us a really good idea of what we're dealing with.
All right, so you know everybody else. Now it's time to get to know me.
Hi, my name is Patrick. I was born in St. Johnsbury, Vermont. I am 43 years old. My favorite color is red. My favorite food, that's a hard choice. I would have to say soup. Pretty much any kind of soup, but mostly beef stew. So yeah, my favorite thing to do is to be on TikTok. So throughout my life, I've had many dreams.
So that is one big point of contention, is his favorite thing to do is to just, be on TikTok. Just be on TikTok, post on TikTok, be on TikTok, do dances on TikTok. Every other person in this family was coached to say, my favorite thing is my family. My favorite thing is my family. My favorite thing is my family. All three of them, that was their response. His favorite thing, being on TikTok. But who controls all of this? Who runs the show here?
But my dream is to inspire others.
Inspire others to do what? Cross creepy boundaries with their children? Not a good thing to inspire others to do. How to legally get away with grooming? How to get away with being creepy on the internet? Not good things to be inspirational about, but okay, go on.
And to be a full-time content creator.
Great. Lucky us.
So, kind of on my way.
I'm on my way.
Different things throughout my life. I have designed a game. Sarah and I wrote a book, and we're continuing to write a second book. I've done some music. Not very good at that. My voice is not the greatest, but it was for my family, so it really didn't matter. But yeah. I did have a gaming TikTok with the whole family, or not TikTok, YouTube with the whole family, Getcho Family Gaming. We did that for a little while, but we didn't really blossom until we got to TikTok. This is where things have started really opening up for both me and Sarah.
So he's a many-time failed content creator, and I know a lot of people try different content before something hits, but what hit was a creepy relationship with his daughter. So why are people watching? Who is liking, who is clicking on these videos? It's the people who fetishize this type of dynamic. That's who's clicking on these videos. The daddy-daughter predator people, and then probably very young people who wish that they could be close to their dad. Very young girls with daddy issues, with an absent dad or a dad who doesn't like giving a lot of affection and living vicariously through that, not realizing that it's too far because they also don't know any better. You have to ask yourself why this is hitting, why your gaming didn't hit. Because if you're entertaining, any content will hit. Eventually, if you're consistent with it. That is, oh my God, okay.
Something you may not know about me is that I am a very private person. And it's funny because I put myself...
I don't believe you. Which is funny because you put yourself online. Exactly. That's why I don't believe you. See, and that is even more sketchy. I'm a very private person, which means that this creepy stuff that is getting posted to the internet is the okay being not private stuff. So what is private behind closed doors? If he posts all this stuff to the public, to the internet, what happens behind closed doors?
Out there on TikTok, you would think the opposite. But I know a lot of people ask a lot of questions about us, and we don't answer a lot of them because of the fact that we just don't feel like everybody needs to know our whole life. What we put on TikTok is, what we want people to see, our family relationship, and the other stuff. And of course, we're going to answer some questions. But I am a very private person. I don't like a lot of people knowing a lot of stuff about me because that's just not who I am. Something you should definitely.
So, what are you hiding, bro? It's all I can ask myself. What are you hiding then? Okay.
You already know about me is that I love my family. I love them so much. We are super close.
Especially Sarah, my golden child.
Close. We've been through a lot together. We've been homeless. We've come through all kinds of different challenges, but we've stayed close and we've grown closer. My wife is my best friend. My daughter's my best friend. My son's my best friend. They're all my best friend. It's amazing because we are so close. We do everything together. I've been married to my wife for nearly 24 years, and we're still madly in love. I'm so proud of Sarah and everything that she's become. Hunter is such an amazing soul. He's so kind and so loving. Every time I look at him, all I can see is the love of Jesus, and it's amazing.
Wow, okay. Hunter is great. He's so loving and caring. And when I look at him, all I see is Jesus. Okay. Well, the love of Jesus. I know he said that. It's fine.
And I'm so thankful for such a wonderful family.
Oh, and it's so great that we're such a wonderful family.
So yeah, that's literally the most important thing in my life. All right, well, that's me in a nutshell. So I'm glad you guys have enjoyed this series. Again, if you ask a question and we don't answer it, don't take offense. It's just some things we're not comfortable telling people, and that's the way it is. That's our right. But anyway, I'm glad you all enjoyed this, and keep watching the channel for more dances, transitions, and...
See, I don't think it is your right. I don't think it is your right. I think that if you post everything to the internet, that you withdraw your right to privacy. If you post your life to the internet, it's this whole have your cake and eat it too. It's I'm going to share all of this stuff, or I'm going to share the stuff that'll embarrass my children, but anything that'll be embarrassing to me, no, off limits. How many times has he answered questions about Sarah or for Sarah? Right? But he won't answer a question about him? I don't know. Sounds sus.
And later on tonight, 7 o'clock, I'm posting another Cooking with Dad. I think I'm going to make a big soup tonight. Anyway, thank you all. And
well, I mean, it's
next time,
favorite food, so gotta go make some soup.
To stay positive and have an absolutely amazing day.
I am positive that you are creepy, sir. Okay, so piggybacking onto that and the most important things to him, I want to show you guys this. So this is what he posted on his birthday. Down here, these people have helped to shape who I have become. I want you guys to really listen to what he says about Sarah, like how he speaks about Sarah versus the others. These people have all helped to shape who I have become. I love them all, but the most important people in my life are these three. My wife is my greatest supporter and the person who will always stand behind me. My son is my boink bro. What the fuck does that mean? What is a boink bro? Because isn't boink another term for like, what the because I'm going to Google it. Do you think it'll come up? I'm scared, actually. I probably shouldn't Google it. We're Googling it together. What is a boink? Sorry, it's a bonk bro. Was it a bonk? Oh my God, I don't even know. What kind of creepy comment is that? Bonk Bros refers to a weekly podcast, Bonk Bros, that discuss cycling news and racing events. That doesn't sound. The plural definition of bonk, including two bros fucking each other. In the act of bonking, bros will usually moan the lyrics to Every Time We Touch by Cascada into the ears of the bro. I could have lived my whole life not knowing that. I could have. But here we are, learning stuff together. Okay, considering what we're talking about throughout this entire video so far, labeling your son as your bonk bro probably wasn't the best move after reading that definition. Just throwing it out there. His sweet and loving personality has helped me see what a truly kind person is all about. I love him so much. Then, there is my daughter, Sarah, my best friend. I know I am always saying how much she means to me, but I don't think anyone realizes why. Sarah is the one person in my life who has never stopped believing in me. Your wife? This sounds like your wife. Okay. She is the one person who understands me completely. Not your wife, though. She is always there when I need a hug or a kick in the ass. I'm pretty sure. Oh, okay. Sorry. Sarah is my rock. She shows me what it means to be there for someone completely. She's the first person I call when I need someone to talk to because she knows me so well and can almost tell exactly what I am thinking. That is why we are the dream team. Okay, my dude. Like, this is how a husband talks about their wife. I understand loving and doting on your children. I really do. I love my children. They're great. But this is fucking weird, the way he speaks about his daughter. And it says right here, my wife is my greatest supporter and the person who will always stand behind me. But Sarah's the only one who's ever been there and supported you and had your back and stood behind you. Like, it just, on comfort. I am on comfort. It's so sad that children are exploited by their parents. I mean, there are so many other kids, some grown now, some not. Parents make beaucoup off for exploiting them suggestively. They love to say, you're taking it the wrong way. Whole family much? No, it's just the majority of people in the world care and understand that this type of exploitation is gross and there's evil people out there in the world. You're feeding content too. It doesn't always have to be suggestive content. It can literally be filming them when they're being embarrassed or shamed. Additionally, this whole situation here specific is a beast in its own way. While others exploit kids in other ways, this dad engages in an abnormal relationship with his daughter for the world to see. The fact they've deleted stuff before because they got called out for it being too weird. One reference is the red dress transition. Because how do you go too far with suggestiveness of a video with your child? How is that ever a scenario? I agree. How? I don't why would you want to make a couples dance with your kid? Not every dance they did was, but a lot were. He's simply not as doting to his other family members. Once again, I've mentioned before on other posts, regardless of the camera shyness, his captions are a sentence compared to the 2 paragraphs just for Sarah. There's literally no denying, at the very least, she's his favorite family member by miles compared to his wife and son, which, subtracting that he has a weird relationship with Sarah, the fact that there's a favorite to a degree so toxic for the other two. I know the brother has to notice he doesn't receive the same attention. And another thing, if he wants to argue that we just see it this way because of double standards, is simply not true. I don't doubt most people in this thread find those mother-son relationships weird when she is like, I'm his first love, etc. Yeah, crazy boy moms are next level. One reference I can think of on TikTok is the senior football pictures. I heard about that. Yikes. Mom getting ready for senior prom for her son. The mom took photos with her son that was another one. That was more recently. Maybe it's the same mom. Anyways, yes, the football photos. It was like the football jock cheerleader photos. Super weird too. Yeah, it's weird too. That's funny. It's your child. The love and display is supposed to be different than that of a romantic love. And that summarizes it all perfectly. And you can see by the way he posted 2 paragraphs of Sarah and like everyone else got 1 line. It's just the way he talks about her, the way he looks at her. all of it is weird. And I didn't get too much into it. Again, this whole thing runs so incredibly deep, but I think she went through a period where she was really depressed, and maybe that was around the time that she was making those weird TikToks and stuff, but she alleges that she stopped brushing her teeth. And then in another response to that video, she says that her dad fixed her, saved her. And that is really unsettling. I feel awful for this poor girl. How humiliating it must be to be exploited by your father in this way. Praying the justice system can catch him very soon and lock up the mother too. Oh my God. Worst part is she's been so brainwashed that she can't accept the truth about him. She says her dad fixed her personality, aka manipulated her back into being submissive and childlike. This isn't how a normal 20-year-old engages with the world. It's so gross. In my honest opinion, her fixed remark screams something illegal. And someone else said the fact that she isn't grossed out by people saying she's dating her dad is mind-blowing. You can see how brainwashed she is. She's been groomed since the beginning. This, even if before it was brought to your attention, you didn't think anything of it, after literally thousands of people telling you it looks really like you're effing your dad, you should immediately reevaluate your actions. It's not haters, girl. You're actively being groomed by your own dad. And then I love this reply. The internet doesn't agree on anything. The fact that everyone on the internet is agreeing that she's being groomed and P is weird is pretty telling. Exactly. We don't agree on anything on the internet. There's always someone who will come to rebut them, like the person who came to my Pole family video and defended them and said my moral compass was broken for making these videos about these creepy people. My moral compass on a video where the parents put their kids spread eagle on camera for predators to directly consume with proof. Okay, you're right. I am clearly the problem. It's deeply unsettling. What she was describing was her personality development and normal adolescent rebellion. Her dad squashed that. She's never going to move out or be on her own. He's made her fearful of the world. Positively insidious, to use the word fixed. I actually was confused at first because I thought she was being facetious about some reproductive related illness. Fixed like a dog? It's such a choice of words. Yeah, circling back to that previous comment of he's made her fearful of everything. I've seen talk about Sarah addressing the fact that she doesn't have any friends, and we're actually going to talk about the one friend she does have, which is deeply concerning as well. I mean, what isn't with this video so far? He's made her fearful of the world. I saw her say that, I'm 22 and I don't like going out clubbing and I don't, want to go get drunk. That's not my vibe. That's not the only thing 22-year-olds can do. And if that's the picture that's being painted, because I'm pretty sure these kids were also homeschooled. Like, I don't actually know, but that's not true. And that's a form of fear-mongering. I don't know if any of you watched was it a podcast episode? It was either a podcast episode or the documentary Shiny Happy People, when one of the Duggar children was saying she was terrified to drive in the car in case a rock song came on with drums, because that was like big no-no. She literally thought they were going to get in a car accident and die because a song came on the radio.
If you turn on music with drums, you're calling demons. There was one time I was on my way to a Bill Gothard conference, and one time we were on the way, I was in the very back row of a 15-passenger van, and somebody turned on Christian worship music. It had drums, and it was actually this guy in the front, and I was like, this is the day we all die, because somebody turned on drums, and that's what I was taught. If you turn on music with drums, you're calling demons. And I was crying in the back seat. That type of teaching really messed with me, and all the way up until right before I was married, it was something that I followed to a T. I was one of the ones with more of a sensitive conscience thinking, okay, if this is what God requires of me, maybe I'm going to make sure my skirts are a little longer. I'm going to be more strict about not listening to music with drums. I'm going to try not to laugh too much because maybe that's not as godly. And I started to become more strict.
That is wild manipulation and brainwashing. And then we have this whole level of purity culture. He literally proposed to his daughter with a purity ring. That is weird, man. That is weird and messed up. And the whole purity culture movement, especially with fundamentalist Christians, is really harmful and really toxic. And many people have gone into the reasoning why purity culture isn't necessarily the best thing and why education is more so a better thing. And of course, you want your kids to have sex with people that they love when they're old enough to do so. But making it a bad thing is setting them up for just conflicts their entire life. Purity culture is a movement within certain Christian denominations, particularly evangelical Christianity, that emphasizes sexual abstinence before marriage and in some cases even within marriage. Really? Why? It promotes a specific view of sexual purity, often advocating for virginity until marriage and discouraging premarital sexual activity. Impacts on individuals. The pressure to conform to purity culture ideals can lead to the feelings of shame, anxiety, and confusion about sexual identity. And that's what I was saying just now. It will lead to those conflicts. It's bad. And the potential for harm is the emphasis on abstinence and virginity can be harmful, especially for individuals struggling with their sexuality or those who have experienced trauma-related SA. Purity culture impacts how people see themselves and creates a system of internalized and externalized oppression, shame, and judgment that can restrict sexual agency, exacerbate rape culture, racism, and misogyny. So overall, there's been a lot of discussion recently about purity culture in the last handful of years and stuff, whether or not it's the best thing. I feel like waiting for marriage to have sex is a lot different than this super strict purity culture, and I feel like it comes from a place of personal values and wanting to give that to someone that you love versus being forced and shamed and that fear that's associated with purity culture. And another thing that is really deeply concerning is the level of isolation that Sarah seemingly is in, and realistically the whole family, because they spend almost all of their time together. There is seemingly no outside interaction, no friends, no family visits, gatherings, stuff like that. So it really starts to paint the picture of, well, what else is going on, right? Sarah says that she used to have friends, but they all live super far away, and she has met this girl, instantly clicked, and they became best friends. Now, this girl that she met is Jenna Frank. She is an actress and a social media influencer. And Sarah says when they met in March 2024, I believe, maybe it was 2023, they instantly hit it off and clicked. And so she has a countdown to when she gets to see her BFF. Oh, you forgot to change your shirt here. Sorry. Forgot to change your shirt. So I don't believe you that a day passed, but okay. Oh my God, it's giving Kylie and Drew vibes. That's what it's giving. My best friend, look at my best friend here. I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, it is super sad because this girl isn't her best friend. And now I've reached out to Jenna, haven't gotten a response yet, I don't think. I'll go check my email before I hop off of this. I reached out to her just to be like, hey, what's going on here? Apparently, Sarah and the rest of the crew met this girl at meet and greets that she hosts, and every single time they've gone to hang out, it's been paid by them to Jenna to hang out. That's not a friendship. And what this is starting to look like, in my opinion, is a super strong and creepy parasocial relationship. Because if you keep looking through about her saying, she's my best friend, she's my this, she's my that. You're close friends with Jenna Ray Frank? That's so cool. I loved her dad. She is amazing. We have been friends since the first time we met last March. We clicked instantly. Yet there's no hanging out outside of these meet and greets. I mean, maybe that's just something they keep private, but there's no communication back and forth outside the meet and greets. That's not a friendship. That is a parasocial relationship, and seemingly a very strong one, especially if Jenna seems to have no idea that these people exist and know that this is going on, that is super scary because you have someone on this end labeling themselves as her best friend and someone on this end who has no idea that this person exists outside of the meet and greet. That is sad for Sarah, thinking that she has a best friend in this girl. Terrible that her father put her into this position and has, made her think this. But it's also really scary for Jenna, who is the victim in all of this mess. I'm sorry, but a normal 20-something-year-old girl would be disgusting that strangers thought her and her dad are intimate. She blows it off as people just being haters. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. The response is weird. She just looks dead behind the eyes, and given how long he's more than likely been grooming, essaying her, I don't blame her in the slightest. She's just doing what she can to survive, which is also definitely a possibility. Why she's showing up in videos and stuff, I don't know. It's hard to say, because if you take the whole religious aspect of it and the umbrella, I don't know if they're Mormon, but if you take the umbrella that Mormons follow, where it's God and then dad and then everybody else is underneath and follows dad who follows God, there's no room for arguing there. It's complete and total brainwashing under the guise of religion and Christianity. So it's really hard to say if she's just playing along out of survival, which you think she would have left by now if that's the case. But it could also be Stockholm Syndrome if something is actually going on. And again, her not realizing that, hey, this is wrong or uncomfortable, or your dad shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be acting this way towards you, that raises red flags and alarm bells. But just doing what she can to survive, it's very possible that she's being forced to make these response videos, that she's being forced to make these TikToks. Again, she was having so much fun with her own TikTok doing cosplay and dressing up and all this stuff until her dad swooped in, said, you're not being you, so be you and let me do TikToks with you. Like, you're not allowed TikTok anymore unless I'm doing them with you. What? That's weird and messed up. Maybe being her is cosplaying. They are so lacking in intelligence to think just because it's normal for them that it's in any way okay or appropriate. It's totally inappropriate to be excessively touchy with your children, period. This is why we don't force children to give hugs like they did in the 90s and back, because teaching our children to say no to unwanted physical touch is crucial. They have every right to their own bodily autonomy. It starts young. Crossing those boundaries only sets them up to be potential victims of grooming. What do they not understand? And deleting comments and manifesting it to be okay does not make it okay. Exactly. And the last thing I want to touch on before we wrap up here is the fact that there was this AI model account that was created. And the stuff behind that whole saga is super weird. So Sarah was seen reacting to this audio that was created by this AI account, and she was the only person who had ever used this audio at that time. As people started to dig into who this AI account was, they realized that it had a Reddit that was leaking very suggestive pictures. It had a Facebook page, a YouTube, all of the socials, and an Instagram account. And I believe it was on Instagram, Teresa, Patrick, and Sarah were all seen liking the photos on this account. Now, where it gets really wild, guys, is once Reddit sleuthers did their thing and dug into this account and realized, I'm pretty sure Sarah and Patrick are in charge of this account. The account was deleted so effing fast. The same, like within minutes, hours of that post being created, the account was deleted. So, oh my God, the AI account. I finally just went down the rabbit hole someone mentioned, and holy crap, it's disturbing. What the heck? The provocative AI model gamer musician profile, whoever is in charge of it, I'm suspecting S, spends so much time on it. The fake account has a YouTube, OF, Twitter, IG, Spotify, etc. Even a Spotify. It's so creepy. They upload fake pics and vids of this AI girl in lingerie and write weird captions like, I like lingerie and I like to travel. It's like S is living through this creepy creation. Anyone else go down the rabbit hole? Ariella Brigman. How the fuck do you say that name? That's not a name. Ariella? Okay, I don't know. Sorry for this being a sweary episode, guys. This is messed up. This like literally has broken my brain. I am broken. And then here's a screenshot. Now it is blanked out because she's in lingerie, but you can see future SeaWorld trainer. That is Sarah liking this picture. S liked the post, what the hell. T and Patrick also liked them. This is all we need to know, that they're aware of the weird sexual posts on Reddit and other fan sites from this account. Exactly. And then the moment it gets exposed on their subreddit, it magically gets deleted. The Reddit, the Instagram, gone. You should have maybe waited a day or two at least. Like, come on, guys. Don't make it blatantly obvious that it was you. Noobs. But I think I'm going to stop this video here. I didn't get into all of the stuff I did want to cover, but we're already getting long, and I said I was going to start posting some shorter form content. And yeah, I'm sorry I talk a lot, guys. But also, it's so deep and intricate. And if you guys want a follow-up video for these people, I know there's a ton that I missed because it's so nuanced and so weird, you know? Let me know down in the comments, and please share your thoughts. Are people taking this too far? I don't think so. I think we saw some really damning creepy stuff that just proves that people are absolutely not taking things too far in their worry and concern for Sarah. And just because it's normal to your family doesn't mean that it is socially acceptable. But thank you so much for joining me today on this wild, messy train wreck of a platform that we have stumbled across. Thank you to Kara. Go check out her video. I will have it linked in the description box below. I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Please don't forget to, as I said, like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me to grow, and it helps these videos to reach more algorithms, especially if you go so far as to share with someone who cares. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.